I'm Haley Perot, and this is Northwest Newsweek. The Northwest region is one step closer to potentially hosting the Deep Geologic Repository, which will store Canada's nuclear waste. Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation has declared itself willing in a month-long referendum that's wrapped up on Saturday. Justin Hardy has been following the process regarding the Ignace site and has the full story.
Wabigoon's decision came on November 16th, following over a decade of discussion and information sharing between NWMO and the First Nation. Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation is the third community to declare itself willing to host the Deep Geological Repository for Canada's nuclear waste. No one from the community was available for interview, but Chief Clayton Wittolainen has confirmed that the percentage of votes in favor were even higher than the nearly 78% of Ignace voters earlier this year. Vince Ponca, Regional Communications Manager for NWMO, says the First Nation really put in the effort to get to this point.
The community of Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation and the leadership spent more than 10 years learning all about this project. And so we're very happy that they did indeed come forward with this result after doing the work to learn everything they could.
Wabigoon Lake's decision follows the Township of Ignace's decision in July to proceed as a possible host municipality for the repository for spent fuel from Canada's nuclear power plants. Saugeen Ojibwe Nation still needs to decide if it will join South Bruce in declaring itself willing for the southern site. Even though both northern communities are willing, doesn't mean Ignace will automatically be selected. Ponca says there's still a lot of work to be done.
Discussions are still ongoing, and I think there's a lot of positivity right now. And right now, for today, I think it's really just important to acknowledge the hard work Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation has done to reach this historic decision, and really the hard work they put in to be sure that they are making the right choice for their community.
Township of Ignace leadership congratulated Wabigoon Lake in a statement released following the decision, saying, "The Wabigoon Lake Ojibwe Nation's choice to proceed with the project is a powerful statement of self-determination and sovereignty. We offer our full respect and support as a township as they continue to navigate this important process, and we remain committed to standing with them every step of the way towards the delivery of a successful outcome for both our communities and people." The NWMO had originally planned to choose a preferred site by the end of 2024, but with Saugeen still waiting to vote, it's becoming more and more likely that the site decision will be made in early 2025. Justin Hardy, TBT News.
A teenager has been arrested and charged by Atikokan OPP following a weapons incident Wednesday at Northern Lakes K-12 school. School officials issued a message to parents on Facebook Wednesday afternoon to make them aware they received information through students about a possible threat to the school. Police were called in and classes continued under a shelter-in-place protocol. OPP officers searched the school and a 15-year-old was located and charged with possession of a weapon for a dangerous purpose and uttering threats. Police won't say what type of weapon was involved. Some parents have spoken out on social media questioning the school's response to the situation. The Rainy River School Board responded Thursday, saying they take all possible threats seriously, whether real or perceived, and insist that the school's safety protocols were followed. Scriber Public School was closed on Friday as OPP investigated an incident nearby. According to police, there was no danger to the public, and the situation has since been resolved. The school posted a notice to social media explaining that the decision to close the school was made out of an abundance of caution to ensure the safety and well-being of their students and staff. The school is expected to reopen normally on Monday. No further information about the police investigation has been released at this time. The chief of Nagam Nishnabe, formerly known as Pic-Mobert First Nation, was at Queen's Park Tuesday to declare a state of emergency in his community. MPP Saul Mamakwa was also there, calling on the province to help protect community members from the crises in organized crime and addictions. Jaden Billick reports.
Calling the state of emergency was a last resort decision reached by NN leaders after 3 recent incidents involving violence with weapons. Chief Louis Kawisawa says the situation has greatly strained their community resources due to what he calls inadequate policing. NN has incurred $5 million of debt while fighting the worsening gang activity and increased rates of addiction.
To put this in perspective, our call rate for emergency services is 35 times higher per capita than the city of Thunder Bay. Our youth and our adults are struggling with addictions and untreated mental health issues. Detox and treatment services are hours away with long wait lists, making immediate help impossible.
The issue was also raised in the legislature by NDP member Saul Mamakwa.
The First Nation is experiencing increased violent crime, drug trafficking by gangs, addiction, overdoses, and sex trafficking. But the lack of police presence and delays in emergency response has created a crisis.
This is a serious matter. That's why, Mr. Speaker, earlier this morning I spoke with Chief Jeff Skye of Anishinaabe Police Service to discuss just how serious this is.
This government has taken mental health and addictions issues extremely seriously. It's invested more money.
I was 25 years old when I began accessing harm reduction services. There's blood on your hands! Boom! Boom!
Those spectators were removed from the gallery. Chief Kwissawa says their citizens are feeling scared, abandoned, and unsafe. Mamakwa wants the government to implement the solutions put forth by Nagam Nishnabe. Jaden Billick, TBT News.
Construction for the new Wasigan transmission line has officially started as Hydro One and its 9 First Nation partners held a groundbreaking ceremony Friday morning in Shunya. The $1.2 billion project is expected to take around 2 years to complete and will bring an extra 350 megawatts of electricity to the Northwest. Jessica Clement has the details.
Officials from Hydro One, along with its 9 First Nation partners, were joined by municipal leaders Friday morning to officially break ground on the 360-kilometer-long Wasigan transmission line project. The milestone came after several years of consultation and collaboration with Indigenous communities, government agencies, and community residents. Fort William First Nation is one of the project partners. Chief Michelle Solomon said Hydro One is taking a step towards true economic reconciliation.
There's a lot of industry and companies out there that speak to economic reconciliation, but they haven't yet put action to those plans and to those words. And so I want to acknowledge your work to make sure that you're doing true partnership, true reconciliation.
Construction of the project will be done in 2 phases, according to Sunny Kiranakran, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships at Hydro One.
It starts here in Shania and moves along to Atakokan. We're going to commence construction on that before the end of this year. And then phase 2 of the project will take it from Atakokan up to Dryden.
When completed, Hydro One CEO David Lieberter says the transmission line will bring an additional 350 megawatts of clean electricity to the Northwest.
This strengthens the backbone of the bulk electricity system that runs from this point west throughout the province. And if you want to build new manufacturing, open up mines or forestry plants, or even new communities, you need to have enough capacity on the transmission system. Right now, the transmission system here is getting full. This creates that buffer, that headroom to bring new economic activity.
Atakokan Mayor Rob Ferguson is excited to see the project enter construction and notes it will help residents and businesses thrive.
With the Wasigan power line, they're able to export power. They talk about bringing power into Atakokan, but power runs both ways, and we'll be able to export it. So now we're having developers look at us, and maybe we can do something, which would be great for the community as well.
Construction for phase 1 of the project is expected to start before the end of the year, and officials are hoping to have the whole project done in 2027. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
The federal government is providing a major boost to its winter roads funding for remote First Nations in Ontario. That was announced Friday by local MP and Indigenous Services Minister Patty Hajdu. It happened during a roundtable meeting with Anishinaabe Nation in Thunder Bay Friday morning. The feds will provide an additional $20 million over 4 years. It boosts the federal contribution for winter roads from $7 million per year to $12 million over that time. The money will be used to construct bridges and culverts for safer access to remote communities. Hajdu spoke about the importance of this funding.
They not only transport humans back and forth, but they transport essential goods and services, including, for example, fuel that can get the community through the winter, infrastructure materials that build the houses. One community talked about having approval for 20 modular units and only being able to get 13 through the winter roads. And of course, the cost of airlifting this is just astronomical.
NAN provided a statement after the announcement, thanking the federal government for its all-hands-on-deck approach. The release did mention disappointment that political leaders from the Ontario government did not attend the roundtable. The Chiefs of Ontario annual Fall Assembly was held this week in Thunder Bay. We'll have more on that for you after the break.
We are dealing with many, many topics that, as I said, cut across all nations.
The Chiefs of Ontario annual Fall Assembly was held this week in Thunder Bay. The Chiefs attending were presented with critical updates on a variety of issues and priorities for First Nations across Ontario. Justin Hardy spoke with a few Chiefs in attendance and has the full story.
We are dealing with many, many topics that, as I said, cut across all nations.
This year's Fall Chiefs Assembly is being held on the traditional territory of Fort William First Nation. Chief Michelle Solomon says she's glad to be able to host the coming together of her fellow chiefs.
Well, we certainly we have a lot of intersecting issues that, we have a similar position on, and at times there's things where we have differing positions, but it's always, really great to come together and hear others' positions on things and the information that they bring on certain topics.
The opening day saw the official welcoming of Abram Benedict, the new Ontario chief. He was bestowed with a new headdress at the opening ceremonies. Every First Nations chief in Ontario is present at the assembly, either in person, online, or by proxy. It's one of the few times where chiefs can come together at this scale and work for the betterment of their peoples. This is the first fall assembly that Red Rock Indian Band Chief Alan Odawa Jr. has been part of since becoming chief. He says he's gaining a lot through the experience.
It's still like a learning experience to meeting all the chiefs on this level. I met quite a bit through my past jobs, so it's a different level. Our decisions, we got to keep thinking of what's going to happen for the next 7 generations. You got to keep that in the back of our minds, is that we have to think about our future, our kids, our great-grandkids.
Justin Hardy, TBT News.
One of the largest mines in this region has been sold. The Musselwhite mine was among 6 global mining operations being divested by Newmont Mining. The new owner is Vancouver-based Orla Mining.
Well, we've been looking for the right mine to add to Orla's portfolio for some time, and particularly we're looking for a producing mine of high quality that had mine life left that we could extend to. So Musselwhite checked all those boxes.
The Musselwhite mine was sold by Newmont to Orla for $810 million, plus an additional $40 million over the next 2 years if gold prices reach certain levels. Orla's CEO, Jason Simpson, calls Musselwhite a high-quality operation with a tremendous culture among its 600 employees. And he says they have big plans for the mine's future. Musselwhite currently has enough proven ounces of gold for another 7 years of mining. Simpson says their geologists believe there's enough unproven deposits to at least double that lifespan and possibly expand their workforce there.
There are no job losses as a result of this transaction. We need and have met a number of the good employees that have been running that site. And our intention would be to continue have them running that site and to simply support them, obviously through investment, but also some of our capabilities technically to extend that mine life and potentially expand the site.
Thunder Bay Superior North MPP Lise Vaugeois accused the Premier and the Minister of Indigenous Affairs of neglecting Ganoogaming First Nation state of emergency. The only bridge that directly leads into the community was closed 3 weeks ago after it was deemed unsafe for vehicle use. This week at Queen's Park, Vaugeois said neither Doug Ford nor Greg Rickford have contacted Chief Sherry Taylor since the state of emergency was announced. The government House leader responded on behalf of the Premier and the Minister.
Eagle Lumber's current ownership of the bridge is a problem that Ontario helped to create. As of this morning, neither the Premier nor the Minister of Indigenous Affairs has reached out to speak with Chief Taylor. It's winter up there right now, and an elder with pneumonia had to walk across this bridge to get an ambulance. Premier, will you immediately purchase the land, fix the bridge, and work with the federal government to pay for a permanent solution?
I know that the working group continues to meet on a monthly basis as this project moves forward. And again, the ministry has said to me quite clearly that they will continue to play an important coordinating role to ensure that all of the partner ministries are providing insight into this project, Speaker.
The Red Rock Indian Band has confirmed that a significant amount of earth is still missing from the Nipigon Marina site where ancestral remains were found. Chief Alan Odawa Jr. says only about 2/3 of the soil removed from the site has been recovered. During construction of a Parks Canada visitor centre, the remains of 4 Indigenous ancestors were uncovered. They were incomplete due to the removal of earth from the construction site, which the community calls repeated disrespect towards ancestral remains. Red Rock and other Indigenous leaders held a protest last month on the Nipigon Bridge. Chief Odawa has been working with Parks Canada and private contractors since then. He says they've managed to secure a lot of the original soil for the site, but not all of it.
Yeah, so we started bringing the material back last week. We only filled probably 2/3 of the hole. So I talked to the contractor, like I estimated how much is like more. You say we're out roughly between 60 to 75 loads of material that's still missing. We're still searching for an answer. Like we need answers to recover our ancestors.
Parks Canada is no longer using that site for its planned visitor centre. The Thunder Bay District Social Services Board is looking at a nearly 10% increase for its 2025 operating budget. The proposed budget was presented at the board's monthly meeting Thursday. The big hike would translate into a 6.3% increase to the tax levy for area municipalities. Jessa Clement has the details.
The DSAB board had its first look at the 2025 operating budget on Thursday during its monthly meeting. It came in at over $132 million, a 9.9% increase from last year. The proposed tax levy increase for area municipalities would be over $26 million, which is an increase of 6.3% over 2024.
It's a mainly status quo budget. There are a lot of operational pressures that just year to year we start to see in terms of increase in costs and prices. We do have a proposed implementation plan once the budget is finally approved in December. Today's day was really just to share with the board the detail, get some input, some further direction, and be able to refine what we're bringing back for final approval in December.
DSAB CEO Ken Ranta says one of the highlights of the proposed budget is new Canada-wide early learning childcare funding.
It's really part of the implementation of the up to $10 a day childcare fee program right across the country. So come January, there's about $13 million new dollars invested into the program. It's going to reduce parent fees to $22 a day, which is quite an increase over the last 2 years. Really happy about that. Good news about that is it is a provincially funded program through the federal government support as well. Doesn't impact our local municipal levy.
During the meeting, the board asked the administrators to lower the tax levy increase by over 1% to a range between 4.5 to 4.9. Board Chair Brian Hamilton says it was a tough discussion, and he understands that every municipality represented at the meeting is struggling with budgetary and affordability issues.
I think where we landed, we compromised, and I think, we're going to find creative ways to fund this year, certainly. Probably more budget challenges next year to face as well. So our eyes are not only on this year, but we have to be mindful of future budgets as well.
We will provide implications, what we can do. We have some reserve fund opportunity that we can utilize. We will also explore just the options that will provide the least impact on the individuals we serve.
The board's next meeting will be on December 19th, where they will approve the final budget. Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Coming up, information on a major fire that destroyed a popular restaurant and bar along Highway 17. A popular restaurant and bar along Highway 71 in Nestor Falls was destroyed in a major fire early Thursday morning. The fire chief for Sioux Narrows and Nestor Falls says they got the call about the blaze at Green's Resort at about 6:45 a.m. Fortunately, no one was hurt as the business was closed for the winter. This is what Green's Barbecue and Bar looked like before the blaze. Residents in the area say it was a favorite meeting place for locals and visitors alike. A portion of Highway 71 was closed for several hours while firefighters attempted to get the blaze under control, and hydro crews dealt with a downed power line. No other buildings at Green's Resort were damaged, and there's no word yet on a potential cause. The Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre hosted their annual RBC Innovation Awards luncheon on Thursday at the Superior Inn. 5 winners were chosen for the awards, which celebrate and highlight the best innovations across the region. Riley Cohen has more.
A large crowd was on hand to support and recognize the 30-plus nominees in 5 categories and the eventual winners of this year's RBC Innovation Awards. Abby Sherlock, the coordinator of business advisory services at Northwestern Ontario Innovation Centre, says she loves what the event and the innovators bring to the region.
The award winners are from, like you said, Thunder Bay and throughout the region, and it's awesome for them to get that recognition and exposure and for people to learn about all the cool things happening in our region.
The Innovative Project of the Year was awarded to David Shaw and Zoe Mowat for their company Waves and Frequencies, which helps develop an ecosystem of high-end speakers for residential and commercial spaces, uniquely created through a lens of interior design. Next up was the Young Innovator Award, which went to Mason Magra. At just 16 years old, he's created and built his own company called Poly 3D. It is a one-person operation that provides customizable 3D printing in Thunder Bay and has been partnered with a few local retailers.
I don't want to say a milestone, but it's like motivation to keep going further and expand further and do everything I can to educate people about what 3D printing technology can achieve.
As for the Innovative Company of the Year award, the honor went to Zero by Air Suite Inc. They offer the only North American tool combining aviation operations management and a built-in safety management system. For the Innovation Hero of the Year award, Bobby Parr was recognized for her leadership at the 807 Food Co-op. The Dryden native has helped transform the local food movement in northwestern Ontario, and she couldn't be prouder.
It feels really good. It's been a lot of work, and I think people don't realize how many barriers the local food scene kind of faces. So to be able to, dismantle those barriers and really reduce regulations for food producers and be able to spur the agri-food movement is definitely an honor.
Last but definitely not least, Judy Sander was awarded the Marvin Detweiler Advisor of the Year award and received a standing ovation for her 20-plus years of dedication to the Innovation Center. Riley Cohen, TBT News.
That's all for this edition of Northwest Newsweek. We'll be back next week with more of the top stories from across the Northwest.